All right, guys, a little bit something different. Today, I just wanted to take you through me filling out a bracket. I don't know who actually cares about my picks, but just figured I'd talk college basketball in a little bit of a different way than normal instead of just tweeting about it or, just doing the X and O breakdown. Why not just, it's going to be probably a pretty long video. I'm just going to put it up like this, but, figured I'd take you through my bracket picks. Obviously, I'm not going to submit this bracket. I don't want to, be in any trouble. But I could show my picks, kind of talk a little bit of women's basketball about the teams that I really like and think that have a good chance moving forward. So you're seeing ESPN. I'm doing it on the Women's Tournament Challenge. You're going to see just a little demo bracket here. So we'll just go along and kind of talk through my stuff, my picks, and then at the same time, though, I'm going to show you some film and some analytics and stuff, and kind of show you, why I'm choosing certain teams over others. Because I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched every single one of these teams play this year. So I've watched some of them multiple times, so I know them really well, and I haven't seen some of the teams at all. So some of those picks, you got to go analytics wise a little bit based on their conference maybe. So that's kind of how I'm going to go about the ones that I'm not totally sure of, but just figured I'd take you through the process. So let's just jump right in. Right now we're going to start in the Alamo region right here. We got Stanford and Utah Valley. I'm going Stanford. I'll give you a little disclaimer. I'm going to be picking the 1 seed over the 16 seed in every single region. I do not think that there's going to be an upset in that very first round. So Stanford, we're advancing there. Oklahoma State, Wake Forest. So this is one that I did a little bit of research on. I hadn't really seen Oklahoma State play that much, but I know they have Natasha Mack. So I went back and I watched a few of their games just like to see how they really were. And offensively, I don't think that they're great, but Natasha Mack was just blocking everything. I think she was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State in this one just because I think the Big 12 was really good this year conference wise. I mean, they're playing Baylor on a nightly basis, right? West Virginia. So I think they have some more talent than the ACC was a little bit down to me, and I haven't seen Wake Forest play. So just by the fact of Oklahoma State, I'm going with their defensive presence and, that Big 12 Player of the Year in Natasha Mack. So Oklahoma State advancing there. Missouri State, UC Davis. I have not seen UC Davis play this year. I love a 5-12 matchup you're going to see here. Obviously, when I was a player at Quinnipiac, we were the 12 seed going up against the 5, which was Marquette, and we upset them. Then we ended up beating Miami, who was the 4 seed, and ended up going to the Sweet 16 in 2017. So that was an unbelievable experience. So I'm always a little biased now to that 5-12 matchup. But in this one, Missouri State, another mid-major, quote unquote. I actually hate the word mid-major, but I'm gonna go with Missouri State in this one. I think that they've proven themselves year after year, so we're gonna advance Missouri State. My next one, Arkansas. I am definitely a huge Arkansas fan. I have watched them almost every game this season, especially in the beginning of the year before our season kind of got crazy. But I'm a huge Mike Neighbors fan. I like how he's just kind of like does everything a little bit differently than most coaches, and I really appreciate that. He sticks to who he is, and I really like his team style of play. I love the offensive end of the floor. And
if you own a T-shirt or have a poster, and more importantly, if you believe it, that defense wins championships. You see it. I love it when I walk into these gyms and I see that, and then I watch a practice and there's no defense being worked on. If you study the statistical analysis, the analytics, the breakdowns, when you're looking at close games, which is championship games, if you take the top 100 indicators of who wins close games, 80% of them are offensively related. 20% of them are defensive related. So there is actually no evidence whatsoever that points toward the fact that defense wins championships.
That's what they do. They score at will. So I'm definitely going to advance Arkansas in the first round, but I do realize that they shoot a ton of threes, and sometimes, you live by the 3, die by the 3. So if they have a game where they can't hit, I think they'll get through that first round. But in that round of 32 matchup, if their offense slows down at all, I think they are subject to getting upset eventually. But so Oregon, South Dakota in the 6-11 matchup. I love a 6-11. Oregon's had an interesting year. I don't think that they've been great, right? Obviously, they're a 6 seed, so they play in a tough league, though. The Pac-12, UCLA is really, really good. Arizona was good this year. But South Dakota, I think that they're really good and they're underrated. They play in that Summit League against South Dakota State every year. They probably, that championship game, South Dakota State's best player, Maya Selland, who actually ended my career when I was a senior, got hurt. So I don't think she played in that championship game. So I think South Dakota was able to win that Summit League conference. But, they've got a ton of, they've got 3 players that score over 15 points per game. They do a little bit of everything. They cut. They play like a 5-out style where they're moving the ball, cutting, flare screens, back screens. So it'll be interesting to see how Oregon guards that. I'm gonna go with South Dakota in this game, and I'm gonna take that they're gonna upset Oregon. So that's what I got in that first round. Next one, Georgia Drexel. Drexel, great program, great team, but I'm going with the dogs here. Joni Taylor, South Dakota. Georgia is on a roll, so they're going to face South Dakota in that next round. That's what I got. Next one, Northwestern, UCF. Honestly, don't know too much about either of these teams. I know Northwestern plays that like blizzard zone defense, which we've seen a little bit in our conference. I think Siena plays something similar to that. So I've seen that throughout the year, and that can be really confusing for teams to play against. Like, you don't know if they're in man, you don't know if they're in zone. Their players just feel like they're flying around. It's just like chaos. And I know UCF plays a high tempo style too. They press you and they're super athletic. But I'm gonna go Northwestern. And these are one of the picks where I'm not totally sure, but I'm gonna go based on conference. And Northwestern, I believe, is in the Big Ten, and they have played significant competition throughout the year, whereas UCF's conference is a little bit weaker. So I'm going to go conference here, Northwestern. The next one, Louisville Marist. So Marist is obviously our rival, has been our rival for years. So they ended up winning the MAC tournament this year. We got knocked out earlier, but Marist, I want to root for you because you're in our conference, but if I want my bracket to be secure and to feel really good about my picks, I'm going to go with Louisville. Now, if you were the 12 seed Marist, I definitely would have picked you. Love you, Brian Georges, too, but I'm going to go with Louisville here. All right, let's move over. Let's go over. So let's go to the Riverwalk region. This is actually, I believe, the toughest region. I think that there's the best first round games in this region. So a lot of potential upsets, but not happening in the first game. UConn is going to win that. No problem with High Point. They'll take care of them even without Gino. I think they could get all the way to the Elite Eight without Gino, right? Just slow the game down at the end. You don't need to beat them by 100, UConn. Next one, Syracuse, South Dakota State. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, I think this could be a really interesting matchup. But the problem is that South Dakota State's best player, like I said, Maya Selland, was injured. So I'm going to be going with Syracuse, and I'm going to be going with the Orange. They also had a pretty good run in their ACC tournament. I think they're feeling good, and I think that they'll take the W, even though I would pick South Dakota State normally, like I said, but missing their best player, not going to happen in the tournament. Next one, again, another 5-12. Could be a potential for an upset here. Iowa, Central Michigan. Now, Central Michigan has Michaela Kelly, who is just a lethal scorer. Can get a bucket in any way possible, pretty much. Central Michigan's always been known to be a really good mid-major powerhouse, but I'm going to go with Iowa. I don't think Caitlin Clark is going to be sent home in the first round, and I know everyone is excited to see this potential UConn-Iowa matchup in the Sweet 16. So I'm going to keep that dream alive, even though I think this is going to be a really good game. And quote me here, I would not be surprised to see Central Michigan upset Iowa and end their season. But we're going to go with Iowa. Kentucky, Idaho State. I don't know anything about Idaho State. I'll be completely honest there. I'm going to go with Kentucky. I've watched them several times. Playing in the SEC, a lot of these SEC teams, they're ready for this tournament. They've been playing high-level games all year. The physicality and the size of the SEC is second to none. I think they were the best conference all year round. So going to go with Kentucky for sure. Another interesting matchup, 6-11, Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast is another team that we used to play all the time at Quinnipiac, and they've made 4 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. Michigan's been on a little bit of a skid, if I'm saying this correctly. I'm pretty sure. I know they have Naz Hillman, who dropped 50 earlier in the year. She is a beast, but Florida Gulf Coast has Kirsten Bell, and she has been unreal. She scores in every asset, whether she's shooting the 3 ball, she's off the dribble. They have her listed as a guard on the roster. She's 6'1". She can score in every aspect of the game. So I do think Florida Gulf Coast is ready to get another NCAA tournament win, and I think that they will upset the 6 seed Michigan. So they are advancing for me. Really well coached, really good program who's been winning consistently for years now. Next one, again, another great matchup. You guys are seeing this. Like, Syracuse, South Dakota State can go either way. Iowa, Central Michigan can go either way. I think Kentucky will win comfortably, like I said. But Michigan, Florida, Gulf Coast, like this Riverwalk region to me is the side where people's brackets are going to be busted. These games are going to be tight. They're going to be down to the wire, and they're going to go either way. I promise you that. Next one, Tennessee and Middle Tennessee. Now, I believe her name is Anastasia Hayes, right? Hold on. Let's go to Synergy. Let's do some research right here. I believe she played at Tennessee and then transferred. So let's see the roster. Let's go to Middle Tennessee. We're on Synergy. This is really nice to have Synergy for this aspect. So Middle Tennessee State. Where is she at? She's like the country's second leading scorer, right? Yeah. She scored 631 points on the year. Anastasia Hayes. Anastasia Hayes right here. All of her ratings. She's 5'7" guard. So yeah, her ratings are excellent, very good, very good, very good. So I believe the narrative behind this game is that she played for Tennessee and then transferred to Middle Tennessee, and these teams do not like each other. I really don't know much about it, but that's what I've been seeing throughout the media. Again, the media blows everything out of proportion typically, but that's what I'm going to say. So I think this will be a really tough-nosed game, grinded out, but I'm going to advance Tennessee just, again, SEC conference all year long, and I think that, I don't think one player at a mid-major can win the game for you. You got to have a supporting cast. That's just my opinion. Anastasia Hayes is going to go off for 30. I'll bet you that. But I don't think that they come out with the win. Moving on, Virginia Tech, Marquette. Haven't watched either of these teams too much, but Marquette's that team that we beat when they were the 5 seed. I think Virginia Tech is going to handle them, and they're going to move on. Baylor, Jackson State. Baylor, I got Baylor going pretty far, and you're going to see that here. So that's that region, but again, now we will move straight down. Let's go to the Mercado region. NC State, NC A&T. You guys know what I'm doing already. One seed's moving on. NC State. South Florida, Washington State. Now this one's going to be interesting. Charlize Ledger Walker. Again, my pronunciations are terrible. I apologize for that, I know. But she is one of the top freshman scorers. I think she's behind Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark at that number 3 spot in scoring. And I've seen South Florida play throughout the year. A lot of international players. I'm really familiar with their coaching style, the way that they play. But I do think that Washington State's going to come out on top. That Pac-12 conference, to me, this is a conference thing, right? The South Florida plays in the American, I believe, with like Temple, and like Houston, I think, in those schools, Tulane. But Washington State plays in the Pac-12. Great conference. Seen good competition all year long. So advancing Washington State in that 8-9 game. Next one, Gonzaga Belmont. This is going to be a great 5-12 matchup. I'm excited to see this game. Gonzaga has those two twins. I don't know if they're twins or sisters. Jen Worth, and then there's another Worth, but I know Jen Worth is like their powerhouse, their dynamic player. And then they have Jill Townsend. The way that they won their championship game against BYU was really exciting to watch that. Especially, I heard they all had like food poisoning or something. Don't really know the exact details, but yeah. So Gonzaga pulled away and got that the WCC championship. But I'm going with Belmont. Belmont's numbers, guys, unreal. Let me show you this right now. So this is another site that I use. It is College Basketball Analytics. So again, haven't seen Belmont play, but I've seen Gonzaga play, and I know they have that interior presence. I know they can all score. I know they're good, but Belmont's numbers do not lie. So if we go Belmont Bruins women's basketball, let's see, we're typing that in there. So right away, anything in green is, you're a higher percentile. Red is usually you're in the lower, so not good, green good, right? So just keep it simple there. So if we're going to 3-point percentage, they're shooting 35% from 3 as a team. That's solid. That's top 84 percentile, so it's pretty good. And then from 2 points, they're shooting over 50%, 94th percentile. So their numbers offensively are really, really good. Their offensive rating, 106 points. So offensive rating is just the amount of points that you score per 100 possessions, right? So 106 points per 100 possessions. Good defensive rating, solid 80th percentile. It looks like they play a slower pace here, 66 possessions a game. They're only scoring 7 fast break points a game. But if I go to their shooting, this is where I go to next. So I want to see their heat map. Look at this heat map, right? So anything red means they're hot. So they're not shooting a ton of mid-range shots. They're scoring a ton in the paint, and they're scoring around the perimeter. So that's what I like to see. 3-point. They're shooting 25 threes a game. So if they get hot from 3, I don't think there's any turning back. And I actually went even a step further with Belmont, and I got some synergy clips for you guys. They're shooting 3s, but they're running a ton of ball screens too. So they got 2 guards that I noticed who are doing a ton of the scoring for them, and they can score in a multitude of ways. So let's key in right here. I'm going to fast forward some of this. Let me turn the volume off. Volume off, yep. So this is a little bit of Belmont for you. Let's see, we're getting a 5-out action. Everybody's moving, cutting, passing. They got one post player in at the elbows. Little ball screen, clear the floor. Here comes the end of the shot clock. I noticed that they'll really be patient and that they're not trying to rush anything. They always have that middle high ball screen to end every single play. Right here, you're going to see it again. Coming through, wing ball screen. Into the jumper. So another one here. We'll get to the end, fast forward. 5-out actions, moving it, and everything's ending in a ball screen. So this was their OVC championship. They played UT Martin. Here we go again. Let's see another guard. Fast forward. Sorry, I didn't trim these, but here we go. Bearing in the post, 4-out, 1 in. Now again, remember, shot clock's winding down. Here comes the ball screen. Here she is using it. Patient. And look at this. Just a little X's and O's for you. They empty out, right? So this is just an empty side ball screen now. There's nobody over there. There's a 3 side over here. There is no help coming from this way. This is just a great end of the shot clock kind of play, just to empty the side of the floor, let her go to work. That's just a little bit of X's and O's on them because I did watch them a little bit earlier. So next one we got Belmont, we got Indiana and VCU. I'm going Indiana. I've watched them play. Allie Patberg and Mackenzie Holmes on the interior. I think they're going to take care of business. VCU did. I watched their championship game, their semifinal game against Dayton. I watched that game and I was really surprised about how they handled Dayton because Dayton's a really, really good team. But I got Indiana moving on. Rutgers, BYU. Now, you guys have seen Rutgers has Diamond Johnson. So if I find my freshman of the year edit, come on, Jen. Freshman of the year edit, Diamond Johnson at Rutgers. She has been unbelievable for them. You know, you see I do a lot of film research here, but Diamond Johnson, let's watch a couple clips of her. She's a smaller guard, but she is just so quick. Defense to offense. Here she goes, getting a steal, going the length of the floor here. Euro step, finishing, and again, to me, it's all about conference, the Big Ten. Rutgers has seen good competition all year long. Here's another steal. And her numbers are legit, too. We'll go one more clip. Fast forward for you, fast forward. What's she going to do here? Little crossover. But Rutgers is having a great year. I believe they finished 3rd in the Big Ten. Let's see, some explosiveness here from her. Yep, driving right by, floater. So that's another freshman for you guys to look out for in the tournament. I think she's really gonna lead them, and I think they're gonna take that game over BYU. Even though I know BYU has Shaylee Gonzalez and Paisley Harding, who are and they have a really, I don't know her name, but one of the tallest players in the NCAA women's game, I believe, right now. I don't know her name, but I know that BYU does have a good squad as well. But I'm going with Rutgers in that game, and I want to show you Diamond Johnson's for Rutgers. Diamond Johnson, so I can type a player in here as well. So it's kind of like an ad for CBB Analytics, even though, whatever. Here we go. So Diamond Johnson in conference. Look at these numbers: 96 percentile, 94. Effective field goal percentage, 57%. So this just takes into account that 3s are worth more than 2. So it's not like everything's on a level playing field. So she's shooting effectively 58% of the floor when you factor in that a 3-point shot is worth more than a 2-point shot, right? So points per 40 minutes per game, all this in the green. So she's shooting 52% from 2, and she's shooting 43% from 3. Anything above 40% from 3, anything above, to me, 35% from 3, you're a good shooter. Over 40%, you're a great shooter. So I think that, her stats match that. And Rutgers is also, I believe, they got to be top 5 in fast break points per game. I've researched a lot of teams, and this 16 number here stands out. Yeah, 98th percentile. They're scoring 16 fast break points per game. So you can't turn it over against them because they're going to score on you. Okay, moving on. Sorry about that long-winded rant here. It's going to be a long video, I told you guys. But we're going Arizona, Stony Brook, number 3. Stony Brook, congrats to you on your first NCAA tournament appearance. Awesome. Enjoy the moment. Live it up. You're probably playing while I'm speaking about you right now. But we're going Arizona here. Ari McDonald and Eddie Barnes' teams. Again, pronunciations, sorry if they're bad. But Arizona, I really like the way that they play. They're really defensive-minded, and I think they have pieces. So they're moving on there. Iowa State, Michigan State. This one I was really not sure about who I want to go with, but I watched Iowa State play Texas in the Big 12 tournament, and I know that they didn't win that game, but they were competing. So I'm going to go Iowa State in this one, even though I know Michigan State's a solid program as well, obviously, but I'm going to go Iowa State just after watching that game against Texas and the way that they really competed against Charlie Collier down there in the post. Texas A&M Troy. This is just Texas A&M has been on. I feel like they've been underrated all season long because they don't have like that big name superstar that's all over social media, but they are just steady across the board, and I think that they're gonna be definitely. I think I'm gonna have them in my Final Four. I think we'll see though. All right, last region, the Hemisphere. So we got South Carolina Mercer again, easy South Carolina. Moving on, Florida State, Oregon State. 8-9 game. This one can go either way. I know more about Oregon State. I know they run a ton of sets, and I know Ellie Mack was their transfer from Becknell, who I used to play against. We played against a couple years, so I'm gonna go Oregon State just because I'm more familiar with them. But again, one of those that could go either way. Georgia Tech, SF Austin. So Stephen F. Austin is a team that I knew nothing about. Went searched their stats. Let me show you right now. Stephen F. Austin, SFA. Lady Jacks, all right, Lady Jacks. I was saying Lumberjacks. Stephen F. Look at these numbers, unreal. So effective field goal percentage again, 56%. Their offensive rating is 113, right? But their defensive rating is also up there. Now they're only letting up 70 points per 100 possessions, where they're scoring 113 per 100 possessions. So when these numbers, right, the differential here, net rating is 42, 100th percentile. That means they are the top in the country in terms of their margin of scoring and their defensive scoring margin. So really, really good. 36% from three as a team. That's legit. And then again, from 2, 58. So I don't like to just look at field goal percentage across the board. I really like breaking it down into 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, because I feel like I can get a better sense of who the team really is, right? Because you have to keep into consideration, right? If a team's 3-point percentage is let's say 40%, right? I'm just making up a crazy number, 40% from three, but they don't take a lot of threes. Let's say that they're in the bottom 20 percentile in threes attempted. You have to take that into consideration. You can't just think, if a team only shot 20 threes all season, and they made let's say 12 threes, right? Or 8 threes would be 40%, right? They made 8 threes, then of course their numbers are going to be skewed. So you got to keep into consideration number of attempts and all that kind of stuff. So I like this site because it really breaks down everything for you. Again, you can see their pace of play. They're up there in pace of play, and you can see their 3-point attempt rate. So this is the one that's important to look at. They're shooting, right? 38% of their shots are from three this season. 80th percentile. So now I'm okay knowing that they take a lot of threes. I'm okay trusting this number here, this 36%. So that's just kind of how I go about it. Again, I'm still learning a ton about analytics. Don't really know all that much, but slowly learning and kind of trying to make sense of all these numbers that can seem really overwhelming. But Stephen F. Austin, you are moving on, and you are going to beat Georgia Tech in that 5-12 game. West Virginia, Lehigh. I watched Lehigh play in the Patriot League Championship against BU, and I like what they have. I think they have pieces, but I don't think that they have the physicality or the size to go against the West Virginia team who's been in the Big 12 grinding it out all year. So I'm going West Virginia there. Texas, Bradley. Don't really know much about Bradley. I'm going to go Texas here. Vic Schaefer ain't going home in the first round. UCLA, Wyoming, same thing. Corey Close is one of my favorite coaches. Corey Close, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Big fan of your team and your program and everything that you do. She might have the coolest Instagram account of a women's college basketball coach. She pretty much lets you inside the locker room of their team. Like, she's posting what they're doing, whether it's breakfast or they're doing their journal reflections, all that kind of stuff. She's posting everything and kind of lets you see the inside, behind the scenes look of UCLA women's basketball. And not a lot of coaches, head coaches especially, are letting you inside their team. And I think it's a really smart idea in terms of recruiting. And I love watching her Instagram stories. So Corey Close, give her a follow, guys. Give her a follow. UCLA women's basketball. All right, Bama, North Carolina. Another game that I think can really go either way, but I'm going North Carolina. I do think that they have a number of pieces. They beat NC State earlier in the year, and I'm going to go with them, even though this is kind of against what I said about the SEC conference with Alabama. I know, but I'm more familiar with North Carolina. Going to stick with my guns and go UNC. Maryland, Mount St. Mary's. This is another one. Maryland, don't beat them by 100. Please don't do it to them. Don't do it. Get to 90, just ease up, hold the ball, take it, just turn it over a little bit. Just kidding. But I'm going Maryland here. So Maryland's going to take that one. All right, that is the end of the first round, and that took way too long. We're going to breeze through these next ones. So Stanford, Oklahoma State. I am going Stanford. I don't think Oklahoma State has enough offensive firepower to keep up with Stanford. Missouri State, Arkansas. Again, this game could go either way. I really could see if Arkansas struggles from behind the three-point line, Missouri State's going to come away with this, but I trust Mike Neighbors enough. I trust Chelsea Dungy. I think they have the best backcourt. Quote me right here. The best backcourt in the country in terms of scoring the ball. Now, I did not say best players, but they have the best scoring backcourt with Destiny Slocum, Chelsea Dungy interchangeable at the point, and then when Amber Ramirez is hot from three, there's no slowing her down. So I really do believe that Arkansas has the capability, quote me here again, to get all the way to the Final Four. If they're making threes and they're playing in transition and they're playing the way that they want, shots are falling, they could go really, really far in this tournament. But flip of the coin, if they don't hit shots, Missouri State could beat them, but I'm trusting Arkansas. Absolutely love watching them play. Like Mike Neighbors a lot, like I said before, so we're going with Arkansas. South Dakota, Georgia. So 11-3 matchup here. I think South Dakota will have that, they'll win that first game and they'll be really, really happy. They'll be hyped going into the second one. But Georgia's going to be too much again. Joni Taylor, Q Morrison on the defensive end. Love Georgia. Gonna advance them into the next round. Northwestern and Louisville. Louisville's going to take the cake on this one. Dana Evans is going to be showing up in this in her last tournament, even though she gets her year back. So who knows what she's doing? I'm sure she's coming back again. But I think Dana Evans is ready to take that next step. So moving on. UConn, Syracuse. Sorry, Syracuse. You had a great, you had your first NCAA tournament win there with South Dakota State. You got through that first round, not first win, but just through the first round. But I think UConn's going to be moving on there. Iowa, Kentucky. Now, I know everyone wants me to pick Iowa. They do because they want to see the Caitlin Clark matchup. I get it, but I don't think that Iowa has seen a defensive team like Kentucky. I don't think that they've seen the level of toughness that the SEC plays with. To me, the Big Ten Conference is more about scoring. They have a ton of shooters. I don't think that they'll have a problem in terms of scoring the ball from the outside. But when they try and go to the low post, I don't think Monica Cesano, I don't know if that's your surname. I don't think her night's going to be easy down there battling with the physicality of the Kentucky post. So if they can get threes off and they can knock down threes, Iowa will be okay. But I think Kentucky's defense is going to come to play. I think Kentucky's going to be ready to go. They're going to be prepared. They're going to shut down Caitlin Clark and make everyone around her score. And I think Kentucky's going to come away with the win. So I'm going to move Kentucky on to the next round, even though I know that's at the dismay of everybody who wants to see a Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers matchup. But could go either way. I could be wrong. We're going Florida Gulf Coast, Tennessee. Florida Gulf Coast, you won your first game. You upset everybody, but you're not getting past Tennessee. Kelly Harper's ready to go. Moving Tennessee on. Virginia Tech, Baylor. I think this will be a pretty comfortable win for Baylor. Okay. Sliding down, we're picking up the pace here. We're picking up the pace. NC State, Washington State, NC State, Westmore, Elisa Canane. They're really well-rounded, even though I don't think people think that they are. I think that they are, and I think that they have a quiet confidence about them that I really like. Belmont, Indiana. Let's go. I think Belmont has the capability to get to that Sweet 16 game. They win that second round. You know what? We're going Belmont. Belmont's hot after beating Gonzaga. Now they're going into that Indiana matchup, and I think if they're going to stay hot, those numbers don't lie. I'm going with that 12 seed to move on to that Sweet 16 game. Rutgers, Arizona. This is where Rutgers' run is going to come to an end. Arizona's going to take care of business here. Ari McDonald's going to go off. Lefty, she might be the most explosive guard in the country. Arizona's going to move on. Iowa State, Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got too much down low for Iowa State. Iowa State, again, put up a nice showing against Texas, though, against Charlie Collier when they were going through their post. So, you could go either way. Definitely could be wrong here, but I'm going to move on. Texas A&M, Gary Blair. They also have another quiet confidence about them that I really like. All right, moving into the Hemisphere. I know I talk really, really fast, so apologies, but, just kind of get into the mood. South Carolina, Oregon State. South Carolina is going to take this one. I think it'll be a comfortable win as well. Stephen F. Austin and West Virginia. This is going to be my second 12 seed that's going to be moving on to the Sweet 16. Two Cinderella stories this year in Belmont and Stephen F. Austin. So they're going to beat West Virginia. West Virginia is going to struggle to shoot the ball. They're going to try and defend, but I have Stephen F. Austin coming out, spreading the floor, really making their post players move, and I have Stephen F. Austin going on to that Sweet 16 game in the 12 as a 12 seed. Texas UCLA. Ooh, this is a matchup that should be circled everywhere. Just kind of contrasting styles of play. UCLA has I think Michaela Onyenwere, I think is her name. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then Texas just wants to pound the ball inside. So we're going to see UCLA probably pack it in around Charlie Collier and make Texas make some shots from the outside like teams have been doing all year long. But I'll be interested to see how UCLA tries to score against them too. They run a lot of stagger stuff, a lot of off-the-ball screening action. So it'll also be an interesting game. I think I'm going to go with Texas, though. I think Charlie Collier is going to be dominant down low, and I don't know if UCLA has an answer for that. So that'll be a nice Big 12, Pac-12 matchup, though. I'm excited to see that game. North Carolina, Maryland. I don't think this one's going to be close. I moved North Carolina over just past Alabama just because I knew them better, but Maryland is one of my favorites here, and they're going to take care of business, leading the country in scoring. They're unreal. Okay, so now we are on to the Sweet 16. Let's go right back up. Stanford, Arkansas. I am excited for this potential matchup. Again, I think if Arkansas comes out guns blazing, pushing the pace up and down, and Stanford gets into early foul trouble, Arkansas could pull away with this, but I'm going to trust Tara Vanderveer, and I'm going to go with Stanford because I think they have too much presence on the interior. Arkansas's Achilles heel all year has been the fact that they don't have great post presence in terms of offensively or defensively. So I think Stanford's Haley Jones, Cameron Brink, and the Fran Belibi, they're going to take care of business down there, down low, and I think they're going to go past Arkansas and beat them to get into that Elite Eight game. UConn, Kentucky, we'll just move right over to the side of the bracket. I got UConn moving on. I think Gino will be back for this game too, so UConn's going to move on pretty comfortably. Kentucky will fight though. SEC teams again, they're not going to give up, so I think UConn's going to come away with the win there though. All right, moving right down here, Tennessee, Baylor. This is another matchup this is going to be a grinded out game for sure. I think I'm going to go with Baylor though. The Lady Bears not going to go against Kilmulkey in the Sweet 16. Tennessee will have had a nice run, but I don't think they have an answer for Mooners and D.D. Richards, so we're going Baylor. Georgia, Louisville, right here. I am going to move Georgia along. Again, I'm on the Joni Taylor train. I really like the way that they play. They play so hard and they play for her. You could tell how much they enjoy playing for her, and I think that goes a long way, especially in the NCAA tournament. Sliding right down. We're getting to the end here, guys. Here we go. South Carolina, SF Austin. Stephen F. Austin, I've been to the Sweet 16, and guess who we lost to? 2017, Quinnipiac lost to South Carolina, and I think your run is going to come to an end at the same time that ours did. So, Sweet 16, you had a great run. You're going to cherish those moments forever, beating those two teams that you beat before, West Virginia and Georgia Tech. Unbelievable story that you'll be able to tell forever, but it's going to come to an end against South Carolina. South Carolina Gamecocks moving on. Texas and Maryland. This is going to be another offense versus defensive matchup. To me, Texas full court pressure. I'd like to see how Maryland's going to handle that. Again, the Big Ten has been known for its scoring. I don't know that they've seen a level of defensive pressure that Texas is going to put on them. So I think Maryland, I think this is going to be a really tight game, but I'm going to give the edge to Maryland anyway because I believe they shoot a three. Threes are worth more than two, and at the end of the day, I think Maryland will be able to break that press, handle the pressure, and knock down some threes to win that game against Texas. So I got Maryland moving on. All right, NC State and Belmont again. 12 seed, love you, but you're not moving on to the Elite Eight. NC State, Westmore, you're gonna take care of business. That's gonna be a comfortable win. Arizona and Texas A&M. Now this is a tough matchup right here, but I'm gonna go back to the conference thing, and I'm gonna give the edge to Texas A&M, playing in the SEC all year long. I think that they're gonna be able to handle the bigs of Arizona. So moving on there. So now we are into our Elite Eight. Yes, we are. All right, we'll start right back down. We'll start South Carolina, Maryland matchup that everyone's looking forward to, and I think this is what most people's bracket looks like from the Hemisphere region. So I am going to go Maryland. I think offense beats defense. Again, three's worth more than two. Maryland shooting the lights out this year. They have weapons all over the floor, right? Diamond Miller. They have Katie Benson, who played at Harvard, that I used to play against, who just a knockdown shooter. So I really like Maryland. I think Brenda Freeze is doing a great job there, and they've revived that program in terms of they are feeling good, and that offensive firepower again, like I said, in the Big Ten, that's going to be tough to compete with. So I'm going Maryland. NC State, Texas A&M. All right, 1 versus 2. Another one here. This is going to be a tough one. I'm really stuck on this one. I've been talking a lot, but this one's going to stump me. NC State. I'm going NC State. I'm going to trust Westmore and NC State. It could go either way, obviously. I think it's going to be a really close game. But I'm going to go NC State just because I like Wes Moore a lot, and I like Elisa Cunane, and hope that she gets a run at a Final Four here. So we're moving up to the top now. Last couple, UConn Baylor. This is going to be a great game. I don't want to bet against Gino, though, and I'm going to go UConn. I know the matchup that I want to see in the championship, so I'm going to go UConn here. I think that they'll be able to spread out Baylor and kind of take away that interior presence, and their post players, to me, are a little bit more mobile than Baylor's posts, and they can do a little bit more in terms of passing the ball, shooting the ball, get that mid-range jumper. If Nelson Adoda can hit that mid-range jumper in their that elbow action that they kind of run off of Paige Becker's coming off those pin downs and those handoffs, UConn's going to be in a good situation. So I think I'm going to pick UConn going into that Final Four. Stanford, Georgia. Now I love Joni Taylor, but Tara Vanderveer's squad, they're so versatile. I think they're the most versatile team in the tournament this year in terms of their posts being able to handle the ball. Haley Jones will bring the ball full length of the court, lay it in. She gets the rebound, goes all the way down, lays it in. The whole sisters, I think, great shooting also at the inside. They've got a lot of pieces, so I'm going to go Stanford. Cameron Brink, I think, is another sleeper post player that, obviously everyone's talking about her, but I think that she's somebody that still doesn't get enough credit, and I think if she's gonna be confident, she's playing well, Stanford's going to be really hard to beat. So our Final Four here, we got Stanford, Maryland, and then we got UConn, NC State. So I'm going to have, this is the matchup I want to see. Stanford, Maryland's going to be a really good game, but I think Stanford plays both ends of the floor, and they've proven that. Not that Maryland doesn't, but I've seen Stanford play more, and I trust them more in this situation. I think they have more experience, so I'm going to go Stanford there. UConn, NC State, again, going back, I can't bet against UConn in a Final Four game. They're going to be ready to go, and this is the matchup that I've wanted to see, is Stanford versus UConn in the national championship, and I'm going to take Stanford. I'm going to take Stanford as my national champion. Again, Tara Vanderveer in the NCAA tournament. I think that they're due for one here, and I really like their roster. I just think they're so well-rounded. If one player doesn't score, somebody else is going to step up for them. So I'm going to go Stanford, even though I think it's going to be a close game. Let's pick the score. Let's go. I think it's going to be 72, 66, and I think Stanford's going to win. It's going to be a close game, going to come down to the wire. UConn's going to have to foul them at the end a couple times, but this is just obviously me just making up a whole bracket here. So that is it, guys. Stanford is going to be my eventual champion. So that was a lot. I feel like my voice is kind of gone right now, but yeah, filled out the whole bracket. Hope you enjoyed that a little bit. Just me kind of talking, giving my opinions again. This whole thing is going to be busted after I mess up one game, but, this was fun. I love talking college basketball, women's college basketball especially, and filling out these brackets is a lot of fun. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy that. Hope you enjoyed the little, analytics piece of it, the film part of it. I know I talk really, really fast, so you probably had to rewind if you didn't understand what I was saying, but I can go on and on for days. Again, if anyone ever wants to talk hoops, let me know, because I'm always around to do that. So, I hope you guys did enjoy it, though. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more kind of breakdowns like these where I'm just kind of talking and it's pretty raw and live, I'm not scripting anything. Again, everything right there was just off the top of my head. And obviously just voicing over the clips that I showed you, but that's it. I absolutely love doing this. How long was this? 39 minutes. This is definitely going to be my longest YouTube video ever. So probably just going to put the audio as a podcast too. Maybe just cover the whole tournament like this as we go, and cover the games from the first day, second day, all that kind of stuff. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing something like that. I know this is last minute because I'm putting this up. It's 4:40 on Saturday. The tournament starts tomorrow. What are you doing, Jen? I know I'm taking too much time, gonna get this video up. Hope you did enjoy it, guys. Happy March Madness, everybody. Best time of the year. So again, hit me up if you want to talk college basketball. Follow me on Twitter. Backyard Buckets is the account on Twitter that I do a lot of the college basketball tweeting and stuff on. I also have a newsletter that'll be linked in the description below, sending out breakdowns of players, different actions that we see throughout the tournament, all that kind of good stuff. So going to be sending a lot of basketball stuff out there, and I've been enjoying that as well. So again, we'll see you guys in a future video, and happy brackets to everybody. Hope it doesn't get busted too early. Let's go Stanford.